Okay, so hello, Patty. We can finally start.
Good.
So we are three people in the group. So I should introduce you the rest of the group.
Good morning, my name is Julia and I'm 23 years old. Hi, I'm Cindy.
And I can introduce myself. I'm Patty Tomley. I am a marketer. Currently, I'm the Director of Communications at the United States Sports Academy, in charge of communications, publications, press releases, marketing, anything that has to do with writing and marketing with an emphasis on the communications part. I've only been in this job for about a month, so this part's still pretty new. I was a product marketing manager for a software company, and so but then we moved, so I'm not doing that anymore. But I was in charge of global marketing software. It included, communications and marketing and using media such as the web and social media, along with direct mail, email, and all those good things that go with that.
Okay, very nice. Thank you. So you sent me a link to a blog that you created.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that you want to talk about this 8 steps.
Yeah, I thought that blog would be a good place to start, only because it is kind of the basic place where to start, and here I am in a new place, so it's where to start when you enter a new place. I thought that would be helpful for you guys too. When you start your job, you look around and think, what am I supposed to do? So this blog of about 8 points starts out with, where do you go when you first get someplace, when you're first in a new job? So the first step, I think, was look over all the research, and I can't get it up on my computer, so I don't have this blog in front of me. So if you guys could help me out with that, I would appreciate it. But check out all the research that you have available to you on your product, on your company, on any marketing that's gone on, so you can find out who is your target market, what's the demographic, do you have psychographic information on your target, do you know what the competitive analysis looks like, any of those things. See what you have in your company already that they have done. If they have not done this type of research, then you need to do it yourself. I always recommend, too, is doing a SWOT analysis. You guys in Europe learn something a little different from a SWOT, the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. I think you put a little twist on that. So that's good. That's fine. Start with that. I know it's basic, and a lot of marketers, after they've been in the field for a while, think SWOT is just too basic, and that's something you would do with Marketing 101. It is something you would do with Marketing 101, but that's why you should always come back to it. I find when we do an analysis like that, looking at internal and external factors going on around your product or your company or your service, whatever it is you're marketing, it helps you, especially as a new person, and a lot of times internally for those people you're working with, to get an idea, a focused idea of what's going on. Where are your strengths? Where are your weaknesses? What are the opportunities out there? And putting it out in a simple form just like that makes everybody get on the same page and understand exactly where you're going. And you may be surprised when you get into a new place that some of the people who run the company or that you're reporting to don't know these things. You would think, oh my gosh, you've been here for 5 years, you should know this. And they don't. So it's always good to get everybody on the same page. You may be able to show opportunities or threats that they weren't even aware of. And so that kind of gets everybody focused on one place. You can see the roadmap, what could be available, and it's just a good place to start. So do that. So research, do your SWOT. I think, Stefano, you said you had it up in front of you. Up in front of me. Maybe I could pull it up. Do you, What's the next one that I put on there?
Review current positioning.
Positioning, yeah. So find out where you are, and I'm going to see if I can pull up my original document. But find out where you got to figure out your positioning, and that comes also on where the opportunities are, where the competitive analysis led you, because you may find niches that you weren't aware of, and that your company may not have been aware of. There may be a niche in the marketplace that's not being addressed that your product actually fulfills, and you're not really addressing it at all. So that may open that up. So figure out where you are positioned within the competition so that you can find your differentiation. If you don't know what the competition is doing, you can say, this is what we do really well. But that one point may be what everybody does well. So what good is it to market that? You want to find that one thing that you do really well that no one else can, and then that's the position you take. That's the niche you try to fulfill. So it's taking all that information so that you can find your positioning, so you can find that differentiation. Once you found that differentiation, I think what comes next is probably messaging. Then you want to make sure you understand what your message is. What I've done in the past is come up with a marketing or branding guideline. It's that elevator speech. You might have heard about that. When someone asks you, what do you do? Or what is your product? It's that 2-minute or even less, 30-second explanation you give them. And you have to make sure that along all the lines within your company and all the media and publications within your company, you're all saying the same thing. If you're saying different stuff, if the salesperson's saying something different than the website, saying something different than the marketing, saying something different than the CEO, then that's just a muddied message. It's not clear. And so that's what goes out to the public, and what's the public going to know? They're going to be unclear. It's all going to be wishy-washy. So if you get everybody and everything on track with one message, and you're consistent over and over and over again, that's what builds your brand equity. Because you know when we're doing marketing, it's over and over and over again, right? We want to hit them through all kinds of different marketing, whether it's the website or it's through mail or email or social media. So we do it over and over and over again with the same message. To do it over and over and over again with a different message across the board, it's not going to help our consumers remember who you are and what you do. So I think my next thing there was messaging. So, and then what's after messaging, Stefano, on the blog?
Sorry, the next point will be outline go-to-market strategy.
Yes. So once you get all that done, you know what your messaging is, you know what your positioning is, you know what your differentiator is, then you got to say, okay, now how am I going to attack this market? What's my best avenue in order to reach my target market? And if you've done your homework on your target, you know what type of media avenue to take. For instance, I'm just generalizing here. Let's say you've got a product for teenagers. Probably wouldn't use newspaper. They don't read a newspaper. Teenagers, I don't even think know what a newspaper is. But you may want to, or you definitely want to use something like social media. And then you decide, well, there's all kinds of social media. What do I want to use? Maybe Facebook. Maybe not. We're finding Facebook has kind of been taken over by the teenagers' parents, right? The teenagers are getting more into Instagram or, you know, the up-and-comings. That's where you'll find them. So you have to know your target to know what media vehicles to use, and then how much money do you have to spend, and then use those media vehicles in order to get that to that particular target market. I know years ago, this is showing my age too, but years ago, especially in the music industry, they would send out their new pop star to the malls because their target market was teenagers, and they knew teenagers hung out at the mall. So that's why they would put up a little show. They put a stage up at the mall just to try to get this new pop star, this new teenage pop star out into the public and try to get that teenage target market aware of them. So that was very interesting. It was a different way you wouldn't have thought to market at the mall with music on a stage, but that was exactly what it did, and it really worked for them at that time, and it changes all the time. So that's your go-to-market strategy. How are we going to attack them? How are we going to do it? What are we going to use? And then you come up with specific tactics in order to hit that target market. Like I said, it could be events, social media, which ones, could be print, maybe it's specific magazines that you know your target market will reach. I mean, it could be anything like that, and that's where you've already done your research, you already know all your information. It should be easy at this point to figure out what media to use and how much and where to spend it and where to target. So do I have one or two more points on that?
Yes, we have the execute on plan.
Execute. Execute. What's your plan? Sorry, I know, I didn't hear you. But once you have your plan, then it's just executing on it. You know, you have to follow up with everything. Make sure that when you're, whatever messaging you're putting out in social media is the messaging that you created, and it's across the board. So it's messaging on social media, it's messaging on your website, maybe a landing page that you're using on your website. So it's executing on that, making sure you're writing and using pictures and visuals that fit with all that research you've done on your target and that speaks to your target, and then just running it out. How long is this campaign going to run? I've done drip campaigns, for instance, if you've had like drip email campaigns where maybe you're sending an email once a week, and it may be progressive, or it may be just kind of the same message with a little twist on it. So that may run 3 weeks. It may be a 3-week campaign, or it may be a 6-month campaign. So it's making sure you have all the collateral and the pieces to go with that campaign, and then you're getting them out when they need to get out along that timeline. So it's just the execution. I believe the last one then on my blog would be the tracking and the metrics. It's so important, and as marketers, and shame on me, and I've worked in the industry enough, so shame on a lot of other marketers, we aren't as good at tracking and supporting what we do. I think if you're not out there yet in the marketing field, you'll find out that we, as a marketing department, are looked at as a cost center. We spend a lot of money. We have to spend a lot of money on some of the marketing we have to do. And we do try to leverage what we do by using things like social media and the website and organic searches, things like that, to make sure that we don't have to spend a lot of money. We can do it without spending a lot of money, but you got to spend some. And we have to justify that. As marketers, we don't do that very well, and I'm guilty of it myself. And there are tools out there now to help us track. Things like, if you've ever heard of Marketo, I've used Eloqua. There's lots of other marketing, the CRM systems, which are more sales-oriented than marketing-oriented, but can be used, where if you're doing a campaign that costs $50,000 and you're using email and social media, you have to be able to track how many people opened that email, how many people clicked through, how many people converted, how many people then bought from this campaign. So you can take that down, all your efforts for marketing, and it's hard to do because we know marketing is not a science, and it's usually not one thing that somebody looks at and then buys from, right? You can't say, oh, they saw my email and then they bought. Probably not. There's a lot of things that influence people that make them buy, but as best as we can, we need to track that down to the efforts that we did in marketing, the money we spent, and the money we made. So it doesn't just look like, as marketers, we're spending $50,000. Sorry, I'm using dollars, not euros, but you know what I'm talking about. $50,000 or 50,000 euros, whatever it is. And how much do we make? 100,000, 200,000? Maybe our product, like with the software product, was a long sales cycle. There were several different things we could have done to influence that sale. We might have, if we track everything that we spent our money on marketing-wise, might have been $50,000. But to buy this one piece of software could have been up to $200,000 to $1 million or more. So then we can say, well, because we did this, 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 and this, they bought. And then they don't see us as a cost center. They see marketing as a revenue center. And that's what's important. And we aren't as good at that as we should be as marketers, but we are getting tools that are helping us to become better so we can justify the money that we spend. I think that's it. Except I might have said when you're in a campaign, you also can use the metrics and tracking to tweak that campaign, whatever it is you're working on. So if you're doing a drip campaign, for instance, and you're using some emails amongst other things, maybe your open rate was not very high, but you know, because you know that by tracking it through whatever system you're using. So maybe your open rate was not high. So in order to affect that, maybe the next one you send out, you tweak the subject line. Just tweak it just to see if you can get that open rate higher. Maybe it was click-through rate was a little lower than you were hoping. So you can work on the body of the email to make it more inviting to click through. So you can see you can track it along those systems. You can tweak it to try to make it better so that the next time it goes out, you learn and you get more of a response. You get more of what you want. So I think that is the essence of that blog.
All right, thank you very much. So I think that now Cindy will have a question.
Yes. Do you believe that the power of social media marketing is estimated? And another question is if it's badly managed.
So I think is social media marketing is not being used as effectively as it could be. I think the future of marketing lies in social media. And yes, I think it's being managed badly because we don't know how to monitor and track what's going on in social media. It's like word of mouth when people are out there talking about you on the streets. We don't have anything that will measure that. And it was very interesting. I sat in on a webinar of a brand new product that's coming out. It's a startup software, and it measures social media. I couldn't believe what I saw because, you know, when we put something out on social media, we say, well, we got 200 likes and 3 comments. Well, that was good, and that's kind of tracking. But what this software did is and I hope I can explain this, but it would show the social circles. So, for instance, if I found out that there were 3 influencers in my social media that I want to use that fits my target, and you can research how many someone can be an influencer within the circle of social media. I forget what I think it was just Facebook. Someone had thousands of followers. No, it was, and it wasn't Twitter, maybe it was Instagram, and they had thousands of followers. No, here's the example. There is a girl, she was 16 years old on YouTube. She had thousands of followers, and what she would do every day was like a YouTube blog, is she'd go over makeup tips. So what Maybelline, I think it was Maybelline, anyway, one of those makeup companies knew that she was an influencer in exactly their target market. Then they started sponsoring her, saying, you're going to give these makeup tips through your blog. That's fantastic. Use our product. So then they're getting that out there. Then they could, with this tool, this social media tool, you could actually track then how many people she was influencing, how many she connected with. And then so you could see maybe this one person connected with 1,000 people. And of those 1,000 people, maybe 10% of them connected with 500 other people. And then you could see how it grew. It also connected or collected emails of all these people through social media. That you know, we didn't even formally invite, and they didn't formally say, yes, I want to participate, but because they liked something, we got that information. And then it could also be tracked to how much money they spent. If they, for instance, on an e-commerce site, spent some or bought some money or bought some product through that interaction, that social media interaction, then revenue could be tracked back to that social media. And I'm not explaining this well, but this tracking of social media was fantastic. It was unbelievable to realize the influence that a post or a like or a share had over and over and over again, which is what makes social media so influencing. And then I think, so did that answer your question?
Yeah, yes, it did.
Okay. Sorry, I think I got a little involved there, but I was so impressed with this software tool. I wish I could show it to you, but I just saw a webinar. You know, I didn't get to keep anything, so it's just off the top of my head. But I think one of your questions too, Stefano, and maybe this is Julia's question, was I think the ethics. I think it came down to the ethics of social media. Is it all right to have that information? And because I know I was in a social media, or I was in a marketing situation where when somebody came to our website and they didn't give us their information, you know, by filling out a form or whatever, they just came and they left. Well, I wanted to know who those people were. The only way I could do it at that time was to have them fill out a form. So when they left, we'd throw a cookie on them and we'd track them. And then our ad, whatever website they would go to, because they had a cookie, our ad would pop up. So if they came to our website and then went to Amazon.com, our ad would pop up, so that it would influence them to click back again to our website. Maybe we'd have something there that they could actually start to fill out a form, and we could connect with them, actually start to interact with them. So is that wrong or right? I mean, would I like that as a consumer? I'm not so sure I would like it as a consumer, but I'm a marketer. I don't think it's too invasive. But right now, and what's interesting about that new software that came up, you know, I said, when you like something, according to this software then will gather all this demographic, psychographic information about you, including your email. I don't think it could grab your address, but maybe so. And so is that wrong? Is it invasive? And I think as marketers, that's a question we need to ask ourselves. However, right now, there's no law or governance over this. So it is fair game. So I think as long as we're using that information responsibly, you know, we're just marketing to them. Obviously, when we market to people, when you get marketed to and you get an email or something pops up on Facebook or whatever, you can delete or you can ignore. So, I mean, I don't think it's that bad, and I think we're almost used to that. But when it becomes, or if it becomes more invasive than that, then I think that's when we'll start hearing consumers saying, this isn't right, and I don't like this, and there may be governance put into place for things like this in the future.
All right. Thank you. I think that you answered our question. I don't know if you have another question, maybe?
Yes, I do. It's more related to your career. So I was wondering if there was anything specific that made you decide to follow a marketing career?
You know, I mean, when I went into college, I changed my major. I think I started out in journalism or broadcasting and then changed to communications, and then I went into finance. I got into the business college, and after just taking some classes, I realized that I just related to marketing. I don't think it was any real decision that I made. I think it was just that when I started studying the marketing versus my other classes, I really wanted to read my textbooks. I really found this information fascinating. I really wanted to learn more about why consumers buy. I think more of the psychology of buying, although I'm just in marketing. I think that's what I wanted, that's what I liked, and that's just what I gravitated to. I don't think it was a decision that I made that says, oh, I'm going to go into marketing. It was just something I stumbled across, related to, and felt that I enjoyed it.
All right, maybe it will happen to us one day as well. Who knows? All right, so for the moment, I think that this is it. We don't have any other questions.
So if you don't have anything else to add?
No, I am good. I'm glad we actually got to connect with this and finally get it done. And like I said, I'm on my phone, so this is just weird for me. I'm moving my phone all over the place. But I think I would have computer. But I'm glad that we were able to do this. I think it's really neat. I think it's neat for me even to learn about this technology, because I am not that familiar with Google Hangouts. I do a little bit at work, but not much. So I think this is good that we explore this, you guys as students and me in a profession. And there's always new things coming out. So anyway, if you ever need any more help, I'm more than happy to help you guys, and we'll explore new social media avenues anytime. Let your teacher know.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys. Good luck. And if Ms. Zumstein needs anything, she knows how to contact me. So if you did talk to her, and like I think you said you needed this recorded on YouTube. So if anything happened, I can vouch for you that this happened and you guys did what you were supposed to.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks, guys. All right. Bye.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.